Welcome, my friends, once again to Leviathan Must Be Stopped, and we have some wonderful, tremendous, auspicious news this week. I assure you it has nothing to do with the government of Canada. We were very pleased to find out that our trademark, Leviathan Must Be Stopped, has officially received trademark status. I guess that's with the registrar in Ottawa, and that is tremendous. Now, it took us 16 months to get there, which is somewhat indicative of what is going on in our country. Just a little bit of background for those of you who haven't tuned in before. My name is Trevor Parry. I am a self styled freedom fighter for tax reform, tax reduction, and free speech. And getting that trademarked was fundamental, so that we can get that out as a clarion call to everyone who listens and hopefully will listen in the future. Leviathan comes from a famous, probably the first great political treatise of the modern age, Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan, where he simply, well, not so simply said that the individual should surrender their rights and freedoms to an overarching state, was thought to be benevolent at the time, in return for safety. And in some countries, they've dove into that. Some have bristled at it and pushed back, most notably in the United States of late. But in Canada, unfortunately, certainly in the last decade, we have done that in spades. Canadians seem to, in en masse, be ready to surrender their God given and inalienable freedoms, such as property and free speech, in favor of some nebulous good they consider. I guess it's sort of baked into some concept of the noble and overarching secure state. What Canadians have got is something completely different. They have, in 10 years, and despite what the elbows up community will tell you, suffered a demonstrable, tangible, measurable decline in their standard of living. I work with business owners all day. I travel across this country. I travel throughout the United States, and I can attest, although anecdotally, to the fact that business owners are threatened in this country. They're hurting and they're looking not to government for help, but for government to get out of their way. Now, I'm a historian and I'm a tax lawyer. I'm a tax strategist. So much of what I do has to do with developing cogent and prudent tax strategies for entrepreneurs and professionals to help them measurably reduce tax now and when they assume room temperature. And every year of this Liberal government, I'm always aghast that Mr. Carney refers to it as the quote, new government of Canada. And to be eloquent, my friends, or lack thereof, voting Liberal was like changing your shirt when you shit your pants. This is not a new government, but this is now the 11th year of it, and we have seen a wholesale assault on property rights, on law and order, and most notably on aspiration and the entrepreneurial spirit. Traveling across Canada, rural, semi-rural, suburban, or in the heart of our biggest cities, you're gonna see a changed Canada. You see a Canada ridden by crime, uh, destroyed by a demographic change that was never voted on through an absolutely vercocked immigration system. We now have a situation, and you can talk to friends because they'll attest to this, where young Canadians are unable to get work, even in the and what we considered menial or entry level positions, because the government of Canada and too many large corporations, many of them not Canadian, have decided to wholesalely and adopt something called the Temporary Foreign Workers Program. Now, I don't begrudge these people coming to Canada with the best intentions. They're polite, they work hard, they do the jobs that Canadians traditionally have eschewed. Now, that's wrong. I grew up in Scarborough, Ontario, in a single family, single mother parent. I remember in grade 7 in St. Lawrence School at Kennedy and Lawrence, I was the top student in grade 7, but I also used these things, learned to use them. I put myself through law school, a master's degree, a second master's degree, bouncing bars, teaching people gravity, as we used to say. Canadians need to rediscover the joys of work. And the temporary foreign worker problem or program is simply indicative of a larger malaise that affects this country. Parents have to tell their kids, but their kids need to inherently understand that work is good. Work makes you a good citizen. Work is good for your soul. And We must ask these people to leave. Now, more importantly, we must tell the corporations that are badly abusing these programs, and you know who they are. You may do a drive-through, one of them every morning, for what I consider to be wholly undrinkable coffee. It's, in my humble opinion, a alternative to X-Lax. We need to to prevent this. The temporary foreign worker program was designed for farm laborers, and that's where it should remain. Now, there is a duty on the part of citizens to say, okay, we've stopped this, but now we need to get back to work. No more sitting at home with our legalized pot waiting for Uber Eats to deliver. We need a serious self delivered kick in the ass to get back to work. I attended the Economic Club of Canada's breakfast this week with the six chief economists from our major banks. And for the most part, it was like listening to an spreadsheet try to talk. It was wholly disheartening, and four of the six sounded like the front bench of the Liberal Party of Canada. The National Bank chief economist was certainly the most grounded, and I found his points particularly salient. And what he pointed out that in Ontario alone, the so-called, economic heart of this country, and I would differ with that, having many Alberta friends, the manufacturing base in this province has been hollowed out. It was once 2.5 times the size of that base in Ireland. Ireland is almost 3 times the industrial base of Ontario now. We simply don't make anything. So when Mark Carney and Mike Myers and the other drummed up CBC-inspired elbows up aficionados start talking about diversifying trade away from the United States, it is an absolute charade. There is no denying 85% of our economic engagement is with the United States. And I firmly believe as a patriot and as a small L liberal, that we should be working closely with our American cousins to develop a common market in North America. And we might inspire some productivity, fix our immigration policy, and fix a lot of what ails this country. Now, entrepreneurs are near and dear to me, and I meet with them all day, professionals as well. And one thing I enjoy, it heartens my soul, is to help them pay less tax. And I'm not talking about schemes. Lord knows there's enough of those, and CRA are well onto those. I'm talking about prudent, objective, comprehensive discussion, and where we determine where the issue is and what the comprehensive solution is. We sit down over the period of time, several meetings, and I apologize, I can't, as a lawyer, sign my name in less than 2 pages. We fix that problem. I look forward to talking to all of you, or as many of you who find this country imperiled. Once again, aspiration to be the driving force behind economic activity and citizenship, and perhaps together, through a process of engagement and conversation and intelligence, we might improve your situation and then collectively improve the lot of this country, which is absolutely and undeniably in decline. We love it too much to let it slip away. Thank you.